What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is the limits you've accepted as reality? Limits aren't real barriers, they're constructs of the mind. Think about it. Every great achievement in history was once considered impossible. So I'll ask you, what's your impossible? When Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, it wasn't just a physical feat, it was a mental revolution. For years, athletes had been conditioned to believe that breaking that barrier was beyond human capacity. Bannister's dedication to training, to pushing his body and mind, redefined what was possible. And here's the kicker. Once Bannister showed it could be done, others followed suit. It wasn't because humans suddenly evolved, it was because he shattered the mental chains that had been holding everyone back. Now think about your own life. What impossible goal have you been too afraid to chase? Is it starting a business, achieving financial freedom, or transforming your health? Whatever it is, I want you to hold it in your mind because today, we're going to redefine what's possible for you. Let's get to the core of dedication, purpose. Purpose is the fuel for your journey. Without it, even the most disciplined individuals will eventually burn out. Purpose is what makes you unstoppable when everything else tells you to quit. Think about some of the most dedicated individuals in history. Mahatma Gandhi's purpose was to achieve freedom for his people. Marie Curie's purpose was to advance science, even when it meant working in dangerous conditions. Martin Luther King Jr.'s purpose was to bring justice and equality to a divided society. Their dedication wasn't just about achieving personal goals, it was rooted in a purpose that transcended themselves. So let me ask you, what is your purpose? Not what your parents want for you, not what society expects of you. What drives you? What makes you feel alive? Many of us struggle with this question. We get caught up in the daily grind, chasing goals that don't truly fulfill us. But here's the thing, your purpose doesn't have to be world-changing. It just has to be meaningful to you. It could be creating a secure future for your family, using your talents to inspire others, or mastering a craft that brings you joy. Take some time right now to think about it. If your answer doesn't come immediately, that's okay. Purpose isn't always easy to uncover. It takes reflection, trial and error, and sometimes heartbreak. But once you find it, it will light a fire in you that nothing can extinguish. Here's where it gets tough. Dedication isn't a feel-good buzzword. It's a call to action that requires sacrifice. And let's be honest, sacrifice isn't glamorous. It's hard. It's lonely. It's waking up at 5 a.m. while everyone else is sleeping. It's saying no to instant gratification so you can say yes to long-term success. Think about this. Every story of success is also a story of sacrifice. Consider Elon Musk. Today he's known as a billionaire visionary, but do you know the sacrifices he made to get there? At one point, Musk invested every penny he had into his companies, living in a tiny apartment and borrowing money for rent. He risked everything because he believed in his vision. Or look at Serena Williams. Her journey to becoming one of the greatest athletes in history wasn't easy. While other kids were out playing, Serena was on the court practicing for hours. She sacrificed her childhood for a dream. Now let's bring it back to you. What are you willing to sacrifice for your goals? Because here's the truth, you can't have it all. You can't stay comfortable and achieve greatness at the same time. Dedication demands that you make tough choices. But let me reassure you, the sacrifices are worth it. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building a future that's more fulfilling than anything short-term satisfaction could ever offer. Let me introduce you to another key ingredient of dedication: grit. Grit is the combination of passion and perseverance. It's what keeps you going when the initial excitement fades. Angela Duckworth, a psychologist and author of Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, studied what makes people successful. She found that talent alone isn't enough. The most successful people are the ones who combine long-term passion with relentless effort. Let's take J.K. Rowling as an example. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, Rowling faced years of rejection. She was a single mother, struggling to make ends meet, and countless publishers turned her manuscript down. But she kept going. Her grit paid off, and today her books have inspired millions around the world. So how do you develop grit? Start by falling in love with the process. Dedication isn't just about the end goal. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and finding joy in the journey. Ask yourself, am I willing to endure setbacks, criticism, and failure for the sake of my dream? If the answer is yes, then you have what it takes to develop grit. We live in a culture obsessed with motivation. We scroll through social media, looking for that perfect quote or video to fire us up. But here's the hard truth, motivation is unreliable. It's a fair-weather friend. Discipline, on the other hand, is your best ally. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up every single day, rain or shine. Think about Olympic athletes. They don't train only when they feel like it. They train because they're committed. Their discipline is what allows them to perform at the highest level, even on the days when their motivation is nowhere to be found. How do you build discipline? It starts with small, consistent actions. Wake up at the same time every day. Stick to a schedule. Hold yourself accountable. Over time, these habits compound, and before you know it, discipline becomes second nature. Remember this: motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. So the next time you don't feel like it, remind yourself that feelings are temporary. Your dedication is permanent. Let's dive deeper into failure because, let's face it, failure terrifies most of us. It's uncomfortable, it's painful. But here's the thing: failure is the best teacher you'll ever have. Take the story of Walt Disney. Before he created the entertainment empire we know today, Disney was fired from a newspaper job for lacking creativity. He started several businesses that failed miserably before finally finding success with Mickey Mouse. Or consider Colonel Sanders. At age 65, after countless rejections, he turned his chicken recipe into the global brand we now know as KFC. The common thread? These individuals didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel to keep going. Failure isn't a dead end, it's a detour. It's life's way of teaching you what doesn't work, so you can get closer to what does. The next time you fail, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead ask, "What's the lesson?" If failure is the test, resilience is your response. Resilience is your ability to bounce back stronger every time life knocks you down. Think of Malala Yousafzai. At just 15 years old, she was shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education. Most people would have been paralyzed by fear, but not Malala. Her resilience turned a personal tragedy into a global movement for education and equality. So how can you build resilience? Start by shifting your mindset. Understand that challenges aren't there to break you. They're there to shape you. Surround yourself with a strong support system and practice gratitude. Resilience doesn't mean never falling. It means always getting back up. As we reach the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect. Everything we've discussed, your purpose, your sacrifices, your discipline, and your resilience, has one unifying thread: your unwavering dedication. Dedication is not a one-time decision. It's a commitment you make every day to become the best version of yourself, no matter the obstacles or challenges. But what does this mean in practical terms? It means choosing growth over comfort. It means showing up for yourself even when the world feels heavy. It means believing that you are capable of extraordinary things because you are. The truth is, the world needs people like you. It needs dreamers and doers. It needs individuals who aren't afraid to push boundaries, break norms, and go beyond limits. It needs people who are willing to dedicate themselves to something greater than their fears. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's this: you are far more powerful than you believe. Strength isn't just about physical ability. It's about mental toughness, emotional resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward when everything inside you says to stop. Think about the challenges you've faced in your life so far. Every setback, every disappointment, every failure. What did they teach you? How did they shape you? The fact that you're here today, listening, learning, and growing is proof of your strength. But here's the thing: strength is like a muscle. It grows when you use it. Every time you push yourself, every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you face fear head on, you're building strength. You're proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws your way. One of the most important truths about dedication is this: it's not about grand gestures or massive leaps. It's about small, consistent steps. It's about waking up every day and choosing to move forward, even if it's just an inch. Think of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. They weren't built in a day or even a year. They were constructed stone by stone, day by day, through the relentless dedication of thousands of workers. Your goals, your dreams, your legacy, they're your pyramid. And every small action you take is a stone. Some days you'll lay down several stones. Other days it might feel like you're barely moving. But as long as you keep building, you'll eventually create something extraordinary. One of the greatest enemies of dedication is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But here's what I want you to remember. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal. It's a sign that you're stepping into something new, something challenging, something worth pursuing. Every successful person you admire has faced fear. They've doubted themselves. They've wondered if they were good enough. The difference is they didn't let fear stop them. They acknowledged it, they felt it, and they kept moving forward anyway. You can do the same. The next time fear whispers in your ear, remind yourself of your purpose. Remind yourself why you started. And most importantly, remind yourself that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. Now, as we close, I want to leave you with a challenge. Take everything we've discussed today and put it into action. Don't let this just be another inspiring speech you listen to and forget. Let it be a turning point. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today to move closer to my goals? What's one fear I can face? What's one habit I can commit to building? Write your answers down. Share them with someone you trust. And most importantly, take that step. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need more dreamers. It needs doers. It needs people like you, who are willing to dedicate themselves to something greater, to go beyond limits, and to make a difference. This isn't the end of our conversation. It's the beginning of your journey. Dedication isn't a destination, it's a way of life. It's a mindset, a practice, a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. So go out there and live with dedication. Chase your dreams, face your fears, build your legacy. The world is waiting for you. And remember, you have everything you need within you to go beyond limits. All it takes is the courage to begin.